Hello YouTube, I hope you are all well and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reviewing Jonathan Demme's triumphant horror thriller The Silence of the Lambs. The film was released in 1991 and although it was a sleeper hit, The Silence of the Lambs received great swathes of acclamation. Demme's cinematic victory has been considered to be as relevant as Nosferatu, Psycho and Halloween. The Silence of the Lambs is a punctuation in filmic history, as it was only the third film to garner Academy Awards across all categories. The picture is an adaptation of Thomas Harris's 1988 book of the same title, and The Silence of the Lambs is actually Harris's second work to feature Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Harris's novel was a bestseller when it was released as a paperback and quickly was deemed to be a masterpiece. Many a panegyric has referred to The Silence of the Lambs. Orion bought it for Gene Hackman to direct the picture, and he subsequently employed Ted Talley as the scriptwriter, himself inspired by Harris's novel. Talley wanted Lecter's evil to be portrayed by a prominent actor and described the psychiatrist's demonic disposition as almost cartoonish. In fact, once Hackman had read the script, he was put off by the violent themes and the producers turned to Jonathan Demme. The director initially dismissed the offer to direct The Silence of the Lambs until he read Harris's book. He changed his mind and was fascinated by Clarice Starling, the protagonist. This film is one I have watched a handful of times and it deserves its recognition as an excellent piece of cinema. I shall just start my review and I hope you enjoy it. The title sequence is accompanied by an atmospheric score composed by the excellent Howard Shore. He made the music real somehow. It was performed by the Munich Symphony Orchestra and the title music is creepy. The viewer is supposed to feel a sense of unease. We see Jodie Foster fiercely contending with an assault course. The viewer sees a determined individual and coupled with the music there is a curiosity about what may happen to her. Jodie Foster plays Clarice Starling, a trainee at an FBI academy, and she is chosen by their behavioural science unit's head to interview Hannibal Lecter, who is a cannibalistic serial killer and sometime esteemed psychiatrist. Lecter, who is played by Anthony Hopkins, is approached as he may provide some insight into a serial killer called Buffalo Bill's modus operandi. Starling is taken to Lecter's confined unit and he quickly becomes irritated by her efforts to analyse him. His character is easily riled, yet calculating, and his attempts to intimidate Starling are met with discomfort. Foster's Starling is personable, and when juxtaposed with Hopkins' Lecter, it makes for tense viewing. Lecter is evidently a narcissist, and uses Starling as a pawn. He strikes a deal with the inexperienced student and offers to assist her in pursuit of capturing Buffalo Bill, if in return he is transferred away from his detested Dr. Chilton. A quid pro quo is indeed offered to Lecter after a senator's daughter is abducted. The prison transfer offered to Lecter is phony, yet psychological profiling is paramount, and he insists on extracting a painful recollection from Starling. Chilton, his psychiatrist, records the discourse, interpolating, intending to reveal that Lecter is being deceived. Chilton wants to use Lecter in order to become eminent, so negotiates his own deal with him. The senator's desperate to find her daughter. She meets with Lecter, who provides her with false clues. Starling confronts the villainous anti-hero, who is imprisoned in a courthouse at this point, in a cage structure. Once again, he demands a traumatic anecdote from her in return for help. In a gruesome turn of events, Lecter murders the guards, enabling his emancipation. Buffalo Bill's identity is eventually revealed as a result of Starling's skillful interpretations, and discovers that he is monstrously trying to make a suit out of the skins of his victims. We see a disturbing chain of events unfold, and Jay McGum, who is the real Buffalo Bill, played by Ted Levine, is discovered by Starling. the senator's daughter is found alive, albeit traumatised and in a dry well. Starling, who was initially vulnerable, is now courageous. I will not reveal the last scenes of the film, but the suspense is enveloping, and the end scene is one that leaves the viewer with a sense of foreboding. The Silence of the Lambs producers intended it to be a detective film, and were surprised that it was perceived as one that belongs in the horror genre. Robert Duvall was also considered for the role of Hannibal Lecter. Demme had other ideas and envisioned Anthony Hopkins as the antagonistic villain. Hopkins enjoyed playing Lecter, and he said he played it with relish. No pun intended. Jack Crawford's character was based upon the head of the FBI's Behavioural Science Unit. Jodie Foster spent some time with the team whilst preparing for the role. Foster had campaigned for the part of Starling, and although Demme had Michelle Pfeiffer in mind for the role of Clarice Starling, she declined it. It was a modest production in relative terms, yet the attention to detail is impeccable. The murder scenes were inspired by Francis Bacon's artworks. The subjective camera work contributes greatly to the chilling experience this film provides, and the feelings of fear as it immerses us into the film. The first-person camera tool is an excellent technique. When Lecter's menacingly cold stare fixes on Starling, we feel it burrowing through us, and it enables us to sympathise with Starling. The film is devoid of glamour and feels entirely realistic. Furthermore, Buffalo Bill's character was inspired by actual serial killers, which adds to the fear. It is certainly worth watching and warrants its pianistic reception. If you have any comments about this film, or would like any other film suggestions, then please feel free to do so. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will be back soon with another review. I do wish we could chat longer, but I am having an old friend for dinner. Bye for now.